Hello, I'm very happy to be here and to be given this amazing opportunity to address a widespread issue. My name is Eliya, and I was born in May of 2005. That makes me Gen Z, the first generation raised by the internet. I got Instagram in 2015. Quick math, I was 10 years old. I got Snapchat in 2016, I was 11, and I got TikTok in 2018, I was 13. Now that we know each other a little better, or at least you know me, let's get personal. Would you consider yourself an addict? If you're not sure as to what defines an addict, let me give you Cambridge Dictionary's definition of the term. A person who cannot stop doing or using something, especially something harmful. Now tell me, raise your hand if you would consider yourself an addict. If you have TikTok, you should probably raise your hand. Because TikTok has been compared to cocaine and slot machines by behavioral psychologists and sociologists. If you look at the brain, this part is the ventral tegmental area. It's related to addiction as it releases dopamine into the nucleus accumbens, home to emotion and motivation. This triggers excitement and a desire to repeat the action. Similarly to slot machines, TikTok follows the same pattern: trigger, action, and reward. This variable reinforcement renders the app as incredibly addictive. Only a portion of the response is reinforced, and there is no fixed pattern. So you might not have seen a video you've liked for a while, but you keep scrolling because you have the certainty that one is bound to show up. And when that video does show up, you get a rush of dopamine. Jackpot. So now that I've gently broken down the news to you that you're an addict, let me clarify one thing. I loved TikTok too. And in 11th grade, my TikTok screen time was 4 hours per day. Calculate with me. I sleep for 8 hours, go to school for 8 hours. That's 16 hours. That means that out of the 8 hours I had left, half would be spent watching 15-second videos. That's 960 videos a day. While TikTok's algorithm is ingenious, what is the time this app consumes replacing in each of our lives? Our lives are didacted by time, and the routine we construct around what we've established to be a day, a week, a month. What I believe is essentially lacking in each of our lives is boredom. Boredom serves a key purpose: reflection. We live in constant movement and rush, flowing from one thing to the next, forgetting the last meal we've eaten, the last conversation we've had. And so this past September, before the start of school, I deleted TikTok. I was amazed at how long it had taken me to click on that little red cross, because I'd been considering deleting the app for a year now. And only then was the prospect of a new year, an important one that would define the next 4 years of my life, enough to help me quit. So that first day of 12th grade, I sat on the bus, and for the first time time and forever, I had to do nothing. It's a distressing feeling to feel confronted by one's thoughts, or to have to sit through a painfully awkward interaction. So I would describe boredom as a very large and very clean mirror. In the past few months, I built my artistic portfolio as I applied to art school. To finish this portfolio, I confined myself to my house for a week. During that week, I didn't see anyone but my parents during meals, didn't talk to anyone, didn't text anyone, and didn't spend more than maybe 30 minutes a day on social media. In those last 7 days before the application deadline, I had to finish, or you could even say begin, a perspective collage piece about social media. But it all seemed hackneyed and obvious, and so I roamed around my house, bored out of my mind, intensely frustrated by my lack of inspiration. As I walked in my living room, I saw myself in the mirror, still in my pajamas, my head decorated by a mop of tangled hair, and I realized it had been a few days since I looked at myself for more than a minute while brushing my teeth. So I created the reflection of a world shattered into pieces, incoherent and confusing. A world devoid of boredom, where your reflection is hardly discernible. Because right then I realized how much we see ourselves without seeing at all, and how distracted we are by the useless content that crowds a platform such as TikTok. And I realized how much I needed this boring week to create this piece. Now, from experience, and according to professionals, boredom boosts creativity. It forces us to seek within ourselves, within our minds, for entertainment. Stephanie Lee, director of the ADHD and Behaviors Disorder Center at the Child Mind Institute, explains that boredom helps kids build planning strategies, build problem-solving skills, flexibility, and organizational skills. But most importantly, boredom fosters creativity, self-esteem, and original thinking. Sandy Mann and Rebecca Cadman conducted a study on the role of boredom in divergent thinking. In the study, participants were split into 2 groups. The first group was asked to perform a boring task, copying numbers from a phone book. And the second wasn't. Then both groups were asked to generate as many uses as they could for a pair of plastic cups. What they found is that the first group, the bored group, generated significantly more uses for the pair of plastic cups. Now, when I was a child, I wasn't allowed to watch TV during the week. Sadistic. My sisters, being 6 and 9 years older than me, had homework and weren't always able to play with me. So a lot of the time, I was bored. My pair of plastic cups, paper, and a pencil morphed into all sorts of things. Stories about crazy beasts, drawings of imaginary worlds, and confectioned languages. So, I wish for all of us to seek out our inner child, to remember what it was like to mend our boredom with creativity. What it's like to find solutions when strangers dancing on a screen weren't the answer to this frustrating feeling. So I ask you, when's the last time you've allowed yourself to feel bored? When's the last time you've indulged in something creative? Perhaps seemingly silly. I encourage you to delete TikTok and daydream, create, and reflect. Thank you so much.
Wow.